We need to do a tutorial on Jimmy Carter and what Jimmy Carter did and how much damage Jimmy Carter had done to our nation. You know, Beirut happened because of Jimmy Carter and the policies that we just allowed to happen. They killed where was the ambassador they killed, Stu? In 1979.
There's been 5 of them. That was Afghanistan.
I think there was an ambassador killed in Libya in 76, but that might have been toward the end of the Ford administration. And then I think it was, if I remember this set of circumstances correctly, it was because of that we sent Marines to Lebanon, right? And so they were in the barracks in 83 when they were attacked by the terrorist strike and killed, 243?
Yeah. And Reagan was advised, just pull your Marines out. And he did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have, the reason why that attack happened is because our Marines went there, and to appease everybody, we didn't allow our Marines to have bullets in their guns. And so a guy came in and pulled all the way through and blew it up because the Marines couldn't stop him. What were they going to do? Throw their guns at him? And so they couldn't stop him as they went through the gate. And so then he was advised, you got to pull out. Well, that's what taught the lesson to Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden saw this and thought, holy cow, I can get them to move if I just kill enough Marines.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened. And then Osama bin Laden started to get really good during the Clinton administration. And Clinton did exactly the same thing. That's what emboldened him, and that's what brought us to September 11th and where we are today. Now, this president has not only been emboldening them, he has been aiding them. I believe it's treason to aid the enemy and provide them comfort. And that's exactly what this president has done. The enemy is the Muslim Brotherhood along with every affiliated group. The enemy is Islamic extremists. He won't even admit that there are Islamic extremists. We have a documentary coming up in the Blaze in about 3 weeks called The Program. The Program is the Muslim Brotherhood name for how they're going to destroy the United States. It was uncovered just after September 11th in Switzerland. The federal government knows about it, and it details exactly how they're going to go in covertly through cover organizations and worm their way into our system, including the administration, our media, and everything else, and they are going to try to disarm us and then kill us. That's their plan, and that's exactly what they're executing. And this president is not this stupid. This president has either been duped by his good friends Rashid Khalidi, or he knows, and he's helping them. With the way he treats Israel, I believe he's helping them. This is the guy who is responsible for the new regime. I told you when Mubarak went out, Mubarak's a bad guy. I want him out too, and I want to stop helping Egypt. But this is not the answer, because this is going to end up in the Muslim Brotherhood, and the Muslim Brotherhood is going to be extreme. No matter what they say, they're going to be extreme, and you're going to have Sharia law, you're going to have mass killing, and it will look like 1979 Iran. Well, what do you think, gang? Have we hit that yet?
Jeez, the parallels are unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Because the Shah was a bad guy, too. But the Ayatollah was 1,000 times worse.
Yeah. And this president is not only cheered them on every step of the way. The left not only was
Same
there.
thing.
I told you that the left was involved. I told you that it was the same kind of people. It was Occupy Wall Street. That was a global movement. I was mocked and ridiculed. Show the picture. Is it up on the Blaze yet? Show the picture of the Muslim Brotherhood and the attackers on our own embassy yesterday, all wearing the Guy Fawkes Occupy Wall Street mask. Gee, who would have seen this coming? Now, here's the thing. This president is sending over $1 billion in aid so the Muslim Brotherhood of Egypt can buy submarines from Germany. Oh, good heavens, we are now? Really? We're giving money so they can buy submarines? What does Egypt need a submarine for? I'll tell you why. Because of the oil and gas drilling off the coast of Israel. That's why. They've already blown up their pipelines. Israel is a sitting duck. It's the only scrap of land in all of the Middle East that has no oil. And they're being isolated and choked to death. And meanwhile, this president says, I can't meet with Benjamin Netanyahu. You'll notice he didn't stand with the guys who were screaming for revolution and lost their lives in Iran, thrown in prison. He didn't stand with those guys. No, but he stood in Egypt. He helped in Egypt. He had his Facebook buddies help in Egypt. The same thing is true in Libya. He had the Marines help in Libya. We threw out one bad guy and got somebody worse. We had not one embassy, but 2 embassies taken yesterday. 4 embassy workers were killed. One of them was an ambassador. You want to teach the lesson that Ronald Reagan taught Osama bin Laden? You just keep sitting on your hands. You do exactly what Barack Obama did, which is 100 or 1,000 times worse than anything Ronald Reagan did on this. He didn't just sit on his hands. Our people apologized. We apologized that we didn't scoop the guy up who made some YouTube video that nobody is watching that happened to offend those guys. And they just coincidentally happened to be so offended in 2 different countries that they took our embassy on the anniversary of September 11th. What a strange, odd coincidence. Wow, pay no attention to any of that. The Muslim Brotherhood is good. We can't meet with Benjamin Netanyahu because the president is, too darn busy because he has a scheduled appearance on David Letterman. So he can't meet with Benjamin Netanyahu in their hour of need. Benjamin Netanyahu asked for the meeting. Obama can't do it because he's going to be on David Letterman, and he can't just squeeze Benjamin Netanyahu into his tight schedule. But he can meet with Morsi, the new Muslim Brotherhood president from Egypt. May God forgive that we called ourselves Americans. If we come to November and we don't see the difference between good and evil, right and wrong, American and not un-American, anti-American. Barack Obama's not un-American. He's expressing his point of view. He's moving forward in the way he is. He's not un-American to do that. There's nothing more American. But make no mistake, he's anti-American. He does not view the United States of America as most Americans do. Some do. Some view it as the world's largest boil that needs to be lanced. Some Americans believe we need to be cut down to size. Some Americans believe that. I happen to believe that we're arrogant. I happen to believe that when George Bush was president. It's not just this guy. This guy's anything but arrogant when it comes to America. He's arrogant on himself. I believe he doesn't worship God. He's not a Muslim, gang. He's not worshiping Allah. He's worshiping him and government. Now, they're misguided people. Jimmy Carter was the same kind of guy. Jimmy Carter was wildly misguided. Jimmy Carter is an anti-Semite. Jimmy Carter hated Israel as well. And what a surprise. We had all of the problems that we had in the Middle East under Jimmy Carter. The damage that this guy is causing, that the next president is going to have to clean up, is going to be staggering. He has violated every principle. Now, I happen to think that good friends, when they see the United States is back in the saddle, and when they see the United States is saying, I am sorry for this last president, I'm really sorry that England will forgive us. England will trust us, not as much as they used to, but they will trust us. Because we're similar, so will Israel. Our allies will trust us again. Not the same, but somewhat. Our Navy SEALs will be put back together. Our Navy SEALs have been gravely damaged. And it's through this president that it happened. Our military is being pulled apart at the seams. And he knows exactly what he's doing. Our spending is out of control, and he knows exactly what he's doing. You want to mock me with Cloward and Piven. Cloward and Piven hang out with the Clintons. We have photos of them. These are not some, dingbats that just happen to hang out in a college university. These people are actively involved. And what is the strategy? You get as many people on the welfare rolls and the food stamp rolls, as many as you can. That way, and you convince them that they deserve it. You convince them that it's their money. And that way, when you cut that off, the people will rise up and you'll have Watts riots. Well, what do you think is going to happen when Mitt Romney is here and we cannot afford it? What's going to happen? They're going to rise up and they're going to take it. Because this president is teaching a generation 4 years, our media and this president has been teaching that it's yours, really. The Tea Party, it's funny, is saying pretty much the same thing, except they're saying don't give it to the government in the first place. The government is the thief here. We have a massive choice in front of us.